Okay, so to find part B, we are trying to find the growth rate. Okay, finding the growth rate. Find the growth rate. And in order to find the growth rate, the formula is going to be ROIC, which is return on invested capital, times reinvestment rate. So we have to break this down into two. So in order to find the return on investment capital, the formula is going to be NOPAT over invested capital. Okay, it's going to be a whole lot of formulas, but here we go. All right, but in order to find NOPAT, we have to do EBIT times 1 minus the tax rate. All right. because our handy dandy balance sheet is not going to tell us exactly what EBIT is, we're going to go to our balance sheet, and EBIT is actually the operating income. That's our EBIT. All right, operating income. Wait, is that on? Oh, okay, I lied. It's in the income statement. Operating income. It's right there. It's got 20,000. So that's the operating income for the EBIT, which is 20,890, and from before, right? That one minus the tax rate is already, we already know that is 0.76. So we just go ahead and multiply those two, and we'll get our NOPAT. 2890 times 0.76. All right, this is our NOPAT right here. It's going to be 15,876.4. That's our NOPAT. Okay, next, after we get the NOPAT, we need to find the invested capital, right? So invested capital just double check I can see it, right? Okay, so invested capital is going to be equal to short-term debt plus long-term debt plus the total equity or stockholders' equity. And all of those is in our balance sheet, which is the book value. So our short-term debt, we already had it. It's that 11,137. Short-term, then the long-term debt is right here, that 54,501. And then we have our total equity, which is right here. Total equity right here. This is the 12,813. We add all those together. 11,137 plus 5450. Oh, I'll do that. 501 plus 12,813, and we get 78 78,451. 78,451. All right, so that's our total. No, that's our invested capital, right? So now we know what. Now all we gotta do is plug it in, right? So we said NOPAT was 15,876.4. Divide that by the 78,451. Let's do the math. 15876.4 divided by 78,451, and we get 0.22040. All right, make this into a decimal, into a percentage. It is 20.24%. All right, so that is our return on invested capital, right? So we can just put this right here. Put that right there, 20.24%. Boom. Now, moving on to reinvestment rate. This one's going to be a doozy. Here we go. So, the reinvestment rate formula is going to be net cap X plus the changing net working capital over NOPAT. Okay, so in order to get net cap, we need to find CapEx first. So CapEx, can y'all see it? Okay, so CapEx is going to be the gross property, plant, and equipment. All right, so we're going to go on the balance sheet and find the gross property, plant, and equipment, right? We're going to go from the most current one, and then the one right before it, and we're going to find the difference. So on our balance sheet, we have 2024, 2025, and 2026, right? So we're going to go where it says gross property, plant, right underneath our total assets. All right, we see that it says, wait a minute, did I mess that up? Make sure I'm doing this right. No, yeah, I was right here. Yeah, right underneath total current assets, you had the gross property, plant, and equipment. So you see in 2026, it was 68,671. 2025, it was 64,375. And then we're going to find a difference into that, between those two. And that's going to be our CapEx. So, just circle that for y'all. So these two right here, boom and boom. So right here, we are going to do 68,671 minus 64,375. What that's going to give us? All right, 68,671 minus 64,375. We get 4,296. That's our CapEx. To get the net CapEx, we just want to subtract the CapEx from the depreciation. So the net CapEx is going to be CapEx subtracted by depreciation, and we get the depreciation from the income statement. All right, from the income statement. So we already got our CapEx, so it's that 4,296 minus depreciation in this, which is, where is it? Oh, boom, right here. Underneath gross profit, the depreciation, the most current, we got 3,273. Make sure we right. Yep. Put this down. Okay, 3,273. Let's do them off. 4,296 minus 3,273. So the net capex is that 1,023. All right, we got our capex. So now let's work on the changing net working capital. Okay. So in order to get get the changing net working capital, we have to get the equation. Oh, can y'all see it? Okay, yeah. What we're going to do is we need to find total current assets minus the short-term investments. All right, and then we're going to subtract that, open parentheses, current liabilities minus short-term debt, or notes payable if you see that, notes payable. And we have to do this for 2 years to see the difference. So we're going to start off with the most current year, which is that FY 2026. So we're going to look at our total assets, total current assets, boom. It's that 34,991 right there, right? And this is for FY 2026. So we got the total assets was that 3,4391 minus this right here, our cash equivalent. Am I correct? Yep, for the most recent year. Yeah, so the cash equivalent and short-term investment, right here. That's going to be 389. Close that parenthesis minus current liabilities. Right, the total current liabilities, which is right here. Circle that. So it's the 32,424 parentheses on there minus short-term debt. Short-term debt, we already got it circled. It's that 11,137. Okay, let's do the math on that. Okay, the first part, we did that 34,391 minus 1,389, and we got 33,002. Okay, so we're going to subtract that. Then we'll do the second part, which is the 32,424 minus 11,137. We get 21,287. And then from here we find the difference between the two. So that 33,002 minus 21,287. And we get, for the first part, 11,715. That's for FY 26. Now for FY25. We're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do it for 2025. So we got our total. Let's all do it together. So we got our total current assets, right? Total current assets is right. Total. I'm having a brain. Where is that thing? Total. Oh, right here. Okay, here we go. Boom. Getting tired, boss. Here we go. That's it right there. That 31,000. 31,683 minus the short-term investments, which is right here. Got 1,659. Let's subtract that. We're gonna go to the current liabilities now. Oh, I'm having a hard time finding one. Just current liabilities. Okay, here we go. Current liabilities. Okay, right here. This is that 28,661 minus the short-term debt. Short-term debt is right here. It's that 6,444. All right, from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and subtract. Going left to right. So 31,683 minus 1,659. I get 30,024. And we move on to the right. 28,661 minus 6,444. We get 22,217. Subtract the difference, 30,024 minus 22,217. We get 7,807. So once you get those two values, we're going to subtract the two. So it's going to be that 11,715 minus 7,807. And we get, so it's 11,715 minus 7,807. And we get 3,908. So this is our changing net working capital. All right, now that we have, I think we got everything, right? We already got the notepad. So this is the net working capital. We got our CapEx. So let's put it all together, right? So once again, for the reinvestment rate, just write that over here, reinvestment rate is equal to net CapEx plus changing net working capital over notepad. Okay, we already know our net working capital was 3,908. Okay, let's change the, let's go backwards. Our net cap was that 1,023. And we know our notepad was the 15,876.4. 76.4. So let's do the math on this bad boy. So we got 1,023 plus 3,908. We got 4,991. We divide that by the notepad, which is 15,876.4, and we get 0.3106. And that right there is our reinvestment rate. Make sure. And then 2 decimal places, so it's really 31.06%. Okay, so the growth rate formula was ROIC times reinvestment rate. So we know our ROC was at 20.24 times the reinvestment rate, which is right here at 31.06, is equal to 20.24 times 31.06 equals we get 628.6544. Move the decimal places 2 places. We go 1, 2. It's going to be 6.29. So that's our growth rate. Growth rate is 6.29%. And that is okay. Now that we have the growth rate, we need to find the future cash flows. So we need to find the future cash flows. So to find the future cash flows, we need to have our notepad. We're going to add back the depreciation from the income statement, and then that's going to give us our operating cash flow. From our operating cash flow, we are going to subtract the CapEx, and then we're going to also subtract the working capital investments, and that's how we get our future cash flow for year 0. Right? So from before, we know that our notepad is that 15,000, right? 15,876.4. Our depreciation is back there, but we could look back over there. Right? Our depreciation was that 3,273. When you add these together, we get 19,149.4. So we subtract the CapEx, which was the 4,296, and the working capital investment, which is that 3,908. Once we subtract all of those, we get our future cash flows, which is 10,945.4. So this is our beginning cash flows, right? So in order to get the cash flow for the future, that equation is going to be future cash flows times 1 plus the growth rate. And we know our growth rate right now is 6.29. So we're going to start off with the cash flow in year 0. We're going to do the 10,945.4. We are going to add that by 1 plus our growth rate, which means we're going to bring the zeros back. So it's going to be, well, when you add it, it's going to be 0.629. And that's going to give us 12,365.64. And this is for, oh, wait a minute. Did I mess that up? No, yeah, here we go. Yeah. FY 27. Wait a minute, looks like I messed that up. It's not 12,000. So let's just do it together. 10,945.4 plus no, we got a multiplier. Okay. Ooh. So we multiply that by 1.0629. Yeah. So we get 11,633.86. Well, it could be rounded to 0.87. That's okay. So from here, we just keep on doing the pattern until we get to FY31. So let's just, well, do it right here. 11,633.86 times that 1.0629. 11,633.86 times 1.0629. We get 12,365.63. This is FY28. On to the next page. So we bring that number again right at 12,365.63 times the 1.0629. 1.0629, and we get 13,143.42. What year was that? If you know, shout it out. What we got? FY29 is 29. FY29. And then do this again. 13,143.42 times 1.0629. Can y'all still see me? Okay, we're good to go. Times 1.0629. And this is for FY30. 13,970.15. I didn't even read the question to y'all this time, but the question states, compute the free cash flow to the firm for Home Depot for 2026 and estimate the cash flow for 2027, 28, 29, and 30. Right, so we have it to 30, right? But we need it for the next year so we could get the future cash flows. And a big thing that it says right here is, right, says you have also been provided with the following additional information. Analysts expect the company to maintain its 2026 return on investment and reinvestment rate for the next 4 years, after which the company reinvestment rate will drop by 50% from that current level, while the ORIC will stay at the 2026 level for the foreseeable future, right? So it's going to drop. So reinvestment rate after which the company reinvestment rate. So the reinvestment rate is going to drop 50% 4 years. So that's why in year FY31 we need to make this drop to half. So in order to do that, right? Because before it was, the growth rate was that 6.29. So now that's the old one. Now the new one, we gotta divide that by 2. Because you're gonna drop 50%. So that's 6.29 divided by 2. 6.29 divided by 2. It's gonna be 3.14%. Alright? So for FY31, we're gonna do is equal to that 13,970.15 plus 1.0314. So we do it 13,970.15. Oh, we got to multiply. Sorry about that. Multiply by 1.0314. This is what we get. 14,408.81. That's for FY31. So that's what we get.